Hey guys, this is Mr. H. Hey, I wanted to do a video on how to solve linear inequalities using the TI Inspire. This is kind of the result of the benchmark. A lot of students struggled with the very first question, and I wanted to make a video that hopefully will kind of clarify this and make it easier to get these kinds of questions. So I took a couple questions from Delta Math. I thought they were pretty good problems. And I want to show you how you can use Nsolve um, to help you solve inequalities. So what you see on the screen is you see 17 plus 7x is less than or equal to a -4. Now, you can't use Nsolve unless you have an equation that has one variable. This has one variable, but it's not an equation, it's an inequality. And because it's an inequality, we won't be able to use Nsolve unless we make a change. So that's what we're going to do. So what we're going to do is we are going to use Nsolve, but we're going to change this to a equation. And then we're going to solve this. And we're going to have a boundary number. So let's grab my calculator and let's get going. Okay, so right here, we have my calculator. So I'm going to do menu 31. Now I'm going to show you what happens if you don't change the inequality. 7x is less than or equal to a -4, comma x. Oops, delete, comma x. And then you press enter. You get this argument error, which means it says you must have an equation. We don't have an equation, so that's why we got that error. So all you would do if you make that mistake, just copy it and then go fix it, make an equal sign, and then boom, press enter. Now, so it says that the boundary number is going to be a -3. So once we know that, we're almost done. So that means that our answer is going to start here. It's going to be a -3. But here's the question. Is it going to be going to the left or to the right, or is it going to be going to the left? That's the whole thing. Should this be, another way of saying that is, should it be x is greater than a -3, or should it be x is less than a -3? Well, we're gonna choose a number and we're gonna see if it's true or false, and then that'll help us determine. Now here's the number that we're gonna use. We're gonna use 0. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna store 0 into x and press enter. Now, I know that I told you guys never store 0 or 1, but this is the exception to the rule. Whenever you're trying to figure out which way an inequality should go, you should always use 0. So now what I'm going to do is I am just going to type in the original inequality. So this is going to be 7x. It's going to be less than or equal to a -4. And then I press enter and it says false. So what that means, if I go back to my iPad, is that this or anything over here to the right is not in the solution. That means our solution is going to the left. So that means we're going to use this one. That means that's going to be the answer. X is less than or equal to a -3. Close circle. All right, let's do another question. All right, so here we have another inequality. Of course, we can't solve this unless we change it to an equation. So that's what we're going to do. Let's get rid of this stuff. Menu 15, and then we're going to type in menu 31, and then type in the equation. We're going to change that inequality to an equation. Equals 6, comma x. And it tells us that the boundary is 7. So if we go to my iPad, we'll see that the boundary is over here. It's going to be 7. Question is the answer going to be less than 7 or greater than 7? Well, let's see. Let's go back. we still have that zero stored in X. So what we're going to do is we're just going to type in the inequality, a negative 8 plus 2X is greater than or equal to 6. Now I got a false. So if we go and look at that number line, we know it's not this. Well, actually, we know it's not this way because 0 is false. So that means that's not in the solution. So we're going to be going this way. So it's going to be X is greater than or equal to 7. That would be our answer. Okay, let's look at a couple more. Right, we have another inequality. We're going to use Nsolve to solve it. We've got a negative 16 plus 5X is less than a negative 26. So let's go here. Let's get rid of this menu 15. And now what we're going to do is menu 31. And then we got negative 16 plus 5X is equal to, remember, it's got to be an equation, a negative 26. Once we do that, comma, X, press enter. So it tells us that the boundary number is a negative 2. So I'm going to go to the number line and boundary is going to be a negative 2. The question is it greater than a negative 2 or is it less than a negative 2? Well, we're going to use 0 and we're going to find out. So remember, we've got 0 already solved. So all we're going to do is a negative 16 plus 5X is less than a negative 26. And let's see, we got false. So if we go back to our number line, you can see that this is not in the solution set. And we're going to be going to the left. So it's going to be X is less than a negative 2. That would be our answer. Okay, I got a couple more questions and then I'll wrap it up. All right, so what happens if they don't give you a number line? Well, if they don't give you a number line, make your own. It just has to be a very basic number line. The only thing that you really need to have on it is 0. So let's go ahead. We're going to take this inequality and we're going to change it into an equation and we're going to Nsolve it. So let's get rid of this. It's going to be menu 15, and then we're going to do menu 31. And then we got a negative 4S minus 9 is equal to, oops, that's supposed to be an S. 4S is equal to a negative 2S minus 6. And then we do comma S. Okay, now we do Nsolve. So it tells us that our answer, our boundary number is a negative 1.5. So a negative 1.5 is going to be to the left of the 0. Now, all we got to do is see if 0 is in the solution or not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to store 0 into S, and then I'm going to type in the original inequality, a negative 4S minus 9 is less than a negative 2S minus 6. And it says true. So that means that we should be going to the right. That means that we should be going to the right because 0 is in our solution set. So that means our answer is going to be S is greater than a negative 1.5. That would be our final answer. Okay, I got one more. Okay, again, if they don't give you a number line, draw your own. The only thing you need is you need an arrow going in both directions, and in the middle, you're going to put 0. So we're going to take this equation, this inequality. We're going to do menu 15, get rid of all this stuff. We're going to take this inequality right here, 4K plus 9 is less than or equal to 9K plus 1. We're going to take that and Nsolve it. So we go here, and this is going to be menu 31. And it's going to be 4K for, where is it, K? plus 9 is equal to, remember, you can only do equations. I've said that a few times, but I don't think I could say it enough. And then it's going to be comma K. Press enter. So it tells me that the boundary is 1.6, a positive 1.6. So if I'm on my iPad, I'm going to put 1.6 here. And then I'm going to use 0 and see if that's in the solution set. If it's not, I'm going to be going to the right. So all we're going to do now is we're going to say 0, and we're storing it into the letter K. And then we're just going to type in the original inequality, which was 4K plus 9 is less than or equal to 9K plus 1. And we say this, and it says false. So when we go back to our number line, you can see that this is not in the solution. So we're going this way. So it's going to be K is greater than or equal to 1.6. That would be our answer. All right. Let me kind of summarize this real quick. You can use Nsolve to solve inequalities. You just need to do a couple things. You need to change the inequality to an equation. And then once you Nsolve it, you're going to get your boundary number. And then you're going to store 0 into the variable. And then you're going to test the inequality to see if substituting in 0 makes it true or false. That's what we need to do. And that's it. All right, I am going to sign off. Let me stop the recording.